Hello photography students, this is Ms. Fitchorn and today we're going to learn to use Photopea to do some white balance correction on an image that you've already downloaded from today's learning slides. And we have 4 different scenarios in which we have to use opposite color filters in which to neutralize the lighting situation. And as an added level and bonus, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how using clipping masks and layers will allow you to alter certain areas of a photo and not others, because all 4 photos are on one big strip if you've downloaded it. So once you've opened up Photopea, first of all, I hope you remember to download your image here. Notice they're all 4 photos in one strip with 4 different lighting situations, and you're opening up Photopea. I'll post the video later. Now we're ready to rock and roll. I'm going to go open from computer because I just downloaded that on my computer. I like to save my stuff on my desktop. It's easier to find, and I like setting my search values as icons versus lists because obviously, look at this, you can't tell what's what, so you can search by if you set your files to icons. It's just so much easier when you're in any form of art or design. And I'm going to click open. And now you're going to see the first layer. It's called our background layer right here. All right, and what we need to do is we need to create different layers of filters, okay? And the first thing that you want to do is I want you guys to look at, first of all, something right here. It's called rectangle select, or you can, if you see the M in parentheses, that means that you can do a quick key shortcut and just hit the M and it'll pull up your rectangle select. And we're going to be drawing rectangles on different layers over each one of these individual photos, and I'm going to show you how. What that does is it means that when we apply a filter to each one of the photos, it doesn't affect all the other photos. If we were to just apply a filter, it would cover the whole entire image right now because it's all on one board. But let's go ahead and create a layer, and remember how we do that is we go down here to that little icon that looks like the little page turned up. All right, and we've got another layer, and I'm going to double click the word layer. In a Mac, it's a double click. In a PC, it might be right click. I'm not sure, but once it turns light blue, it's ready to change. So let's work on the fluorescent photo first. All right, how I know that's going to be the fluorescent is there. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the rectangle select tool. All right, and if you left click and drag it over carefully over that rectangle, you're going to see the marching ants, right? That's telling you that that's where the filter is going to apply. So then I'm going to put a color filter directly on that. So if you go up to image adjustments, you'll notice, like we've talked about like 2 weeks ago, how to use these image adjustments to put different tints, whether to turn a photo black and white, or to invert it, or posterize it, or to saturate the hue. But there's something that's a color balance, and there's also the photo filters. So even though, remember that the tutorial that we just watched said to use like Command L or Control L for levels, I want you guys to focus on photo filters to color correct. So I'm going to choose photo filter and move my window over by dragging it. Now notice that if we looked at the color wheel and if there's green lighting in the fluorescent, well, we need to put a filter on top of that to correct that green, and orange is not it. Orange would correct blue, but not green. So we need to double click this thumbnail that says it's an orange filter, and we need to go in here in the color picker, and we need to go in more of the opposite of green was pink or red. So somewhere up here is going to be fine. And we can go ahead and choose, let's just go ahead and choose pink. And I'm going to click OK. And what I want you guys to notice is it should be putting anyways a filter. I don't know why it's not applying it on there. I might have to redo this tutorial because it's supposed to apply it right on there. And it doesn't look like Photopea wants it to. So the second place we put a color filter on, if that's not working, is we go down here to our layer adjustments, and we use the same menu right there, photo filter, and maybe Photopea just is trying to force me to use this. There it goes. Do you guys notice? It happens. So don't go up into image adjustments, go up into your adjustment layer right here. All right. And then, but that's a little bit too much. That's not neutralizing the light. Now my light's pink. And if you did this, you're going to not get full points for this activity when I ask you to turn it in. So you can choose to look at, as I lower the density of the filter, look at this, you guys, as I slide it all the way back, there's the green again. So you just want to add enough of the pink to neutralize it. And right there, that looks almost black and white. I have neutralized the image. And how I know, if you do a before and after, before, after, before, after, before, after. I can turn on and off my eyeballs to go ahead and see. All right, so there's that. And now we're going to go ahead and create we're going to go back on the background and we're going to create another layer. And we're going to go ahead and use the rectangle tool to draw another rectangle. And notice it took the rectangle off of that one. Now we're on the blue lighting. And then we're going to go down here into our adjustment layers. And we're going to go to photo filter. And oh, look, it already did it. Look at the difference in that, you guys. Did you see that? Look, blue light and adding the orange turned it green, which isn't exactly what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for, well, the opposite of blue is orange, but maybe turn down the density a little bit so it's a little bit more neutral. Like, this is our original. It's very, very cold and very blue. If you just want to warm it up just a little bit, I don't want to see it like that because that's not realistic. Nowhere in the world do we see green skies or green lakes like that. So I would look for a density that, like, it makes the photo not so cold but warms it up. Like the wood is already warm and the sky looks not so cold. So I'm looking for an adjustment there. All right, and then we're done with that. So then I'm going to now click back on the photo again. We're going to create another layer. And we're going to use the rectangle marquee tool. So we apply a filter to only one area. Okay, and you can do this with any photos you take at home to practice as well too. This is just what's due for today's task. And we know for a fact that, let's go into our filters, photo filters. We know for a fact that that had a lot of orange, and ooh, orange on orange was interesting. Watch this, you guys. So this was the photo before, and I put an orange filter on it. I'm not asking you to do this. I'm just saying, look at that. That gives it like a great sepia tone. But what I was looking for is for you to neutralize the orange. So again, the opposites on the color wheel of orange or blue. They're complementary colors. They're opposite each other on the color wheel. So if we go into blue, all right, and we pick up here somewhere in a pure blue, and click OK. Look at how it neutralized the photo. And again, that's how it was before. So if you take it down to 0% density and just add from there, what I'm looking for is a neutralization. I'm not looking for it to be cold, like all the way blue. That really turned it really super, an interesting color, which you can use on future projects on your own. But what I'm looking for is for you to neutralize that orange photo. All right. And then the final section, if we create a new layer, and we do the rectangle tool. And this one's also yellow-orange, but this is incandescent lighting, which are those old, or tungsten, I mean, which are those old-fashioned light bulbs, which are really cool and hipster right now. And I go into photo filter. And again, the opposite of an orange yellow would be like a blue. I'm going to use a different blue this time and see what it does. I'm going to use more of a turquoise blue and see what happens. Oh, it's interesting. It made it almost kind of green. So maybe that's just too much. Okay, and how I know I neutralized this image is if I go ahead, and I forgot to name my other layers, so I know which one's fluorescent, but I forgot to layer which one's which. I know I did this one was probably the lake, which was blue lighting. Don't be like Fitchorn, don't forget to name your layers. And then this last one we created was bulbs. All right, there we go. But you can tell by turning on and off the filter. Oh, that was the lake. That's interesting. They stacked weird. I'll rename them later. But if you turn on and off your filters, you guys can see that you've definitely neutralized everything correctly. All right. And that's what I'm looking for is for you to neutralize this whole entire strip. And then when you're done, notice over here it has the name of the activity because I gave you the stock image, but you need to put your name on it. You should always name your projects your own name. And in Photopea, it's a little bit different. We have to name it by clicking on the tab or the image. And again, you want to put your name before white balance correction. All right, last name, first initial. I don't take work that doesn't have your name on it. So if you're listening to me, I do not take work that doesn't have your name on it. I noticed a lot of you didn't name your shadows project correctly, and I let it slide. But according to the rubric, you have to name it specifically. Last name, first initial, underscore, whatever it is. In this case, the file's already named. White balance color correction. Click OK. And then we can save it. File, save as PSD because I want to see all the layers. So if you save it as a PSD, it'll go into your desktop. And then we want to also file export as a JPEG. Always both. Some of you don't have both in your folders. And then again, I always pick on somebody in the class. In this case, I'm going to show you guys how to find your folders because a lot of you guys are just sticking your stuff wherever you want and then you're having to share it with me and I can't find it. There's a specific folder in which I want you to put your work. So I am going to go ahead and think of a student that has their folders all together. A lot of you do, but I'm just trying to remember. I'm going to pick on Haley really quick just because I know she keeps really good records of stuff. So if you type in your last name, first initial, you guys are going to see your folder come up. All right, that's the way it is. That's how you guys are. You're just saving it in your normal drive. I don't think you guys are doing this step of putting in your search bar your last name, first initial, and then underscore photo. And then what you want to do is drag it into the folder. All right. So I just click and drag it off my desktop into the folder or from my downloads into the folder. And then just to see just what that looks like, look at how organized Haley's folders are. And a lot of you guys are like this. I see a lot of great organization. She's got her EOA POD. She's got Hockney Photopea tutorials, which this is going to count as one. September Photo Challenge, Typography Shadow. She's very, very organized in her work. And that helps me grade so that I don't have to chase you down and make you guys reshare stuff with me. It's there. It's all there. Some of you guys are just, I don't know where you're putting it, but that's the one way to get to the right folder. So make sure you're doing that every single time. And then that's it for your tutorial. If you've done that, submitted it correctly, named it correctly, then you're ready to rock and roll.